So this is review properties of exponents. I just want to make sure that you know if you need more explanation, please talk to your teacher, either me or Ms. Chavez or whoever. This is supposed to be review. This is not supposed to be just automatically learn it. So if you need more explanation on any of these that I'm going to show, please make sure you either find the video that explained it more in depth or talk to your teacher about what you could be doing. All right, so let's do this first one. Simplify. 4x squared times 2x. Remember, all of these end up actually having a multiplication between them, so don't let this multiplication mess you up. So it's actually all of that's multiplying. So you're going to multiply the numbers. What is 4 times 2? Well, that's 8. Then you're going to look. There's an x squared and an x. Remember, if there is no exponent on this variable or whatever, it's just an automatic or an implied or invisible 1. So you could always expand out if you get stuck. So we have x squared, which means x times x, and then we have x here. So we actually have 1, 2, 3 x's, and we show that we have 3 of them by writing x cubed. So it'd be 8x cubed. That would be your final answer. We multiplied the two numbers together, and then we looked at how many x's we had in total. All right, number 2. We have 3 times parentheses x squared y squared. Notice this is to the power of 0. Anything raised to the power of 0 becomes 1. So this one's actually looks not challenging, but it gets simpler just because of that 0. So you would just do 3 times 1. 3 times 1 equals 3. So your answer would just be 3. Okay. Number 3, the negative exponents, and this is what everyone hates the most. So remember, a negative exponent, in order to make it a positive, you have to move it to the bottom of the fraction. So I'm going to make a fraction, and I'm going to move it to the bottom, and that's how you change it to a positive. So then it would be 4 cubed on the bottom, and you have to have a 1 up there as your placeholder, because if you don't, it would just, again, look like 4 cubed. It would look like you just got rid of the negative. But you have to show that it's on the bottom. And think about why that is. If we have 4 to the negative third power, if I do 4 to the third power, it's 64. If I do 4 to the negative third, so notice that x to the y, and I do negative 3, oops, nope, that's not what I wanted, 4 to the negative third power, it gives you that decimal. Well, if you take, remember that number, 0.015625, all of that. If you did 1 divided by 64, it's the same number. So pretty much what you're doing is whatever 4 cubed is, which is 64, you end up writing it as 1/64. And that really doesn't matter, but what I do want to show you, I mean, it does matter. But if you have, let's say we have, sorry, I'm trying to pick a color that is different. If we had x to the negative third power, again, move it to the bottom, so it'd be x cubed, and then put your placeholder of 1. So that would be your final answer. Make sure that you pay attention to the answers. Sometimes if it's a number, it's written as just an exponent, and sometimes it's actually multiplied out if it's a number. But when it's a variable, you have to leave it as the cubed. Okay, look at number 4. Remember this 0 exponent rule that we just talked about? Think about this though. These two things are separated by a multiplication. It's 2 times x to the 0. The 2 does not have that 0 exponent. If it did, it'd have parentheses just like up here to show everything had the 0 exponent. The only thing that goes away is the actual number or variable that has the 0. So your answer here would just be 2. Because 2 times x to the 0, x to the 0 becomes 1. So it'd be 2 times 1, which is 2. So just pay attention to the difference. This has parentheses, so you cannot include the 2 in the part that has the 0 exponent. All right, 2 more problems. Okay, we have x to the 5th, x squared divided by x cubed. I personally like to expand them out, especially if you look at that and you're like, I have no clue what that's talking about. I like to expand them out. So if you have x to the 5th, that's having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X squared is having 1, 2. And then x cubed, which is on the bottom, would be 1, 2, 3. So I like to expand them out, and I'm going to expand them out right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. So this is x to the 5th, this is x squared, this is x cubed. The reason that we like to simplify is because we don't want to have all of these x's written all over the place. So we now need to simplify in the way of what's x divided by x? It cancels. X divided by x cancels again. X divided by x cancels again. So you're actually left with 4. You have 2 left over from this one and 2 left over from that one. We were just taking away, there were 3 on bottom, and we had to take it away from the amount on top. So your final answer, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so it'd be x to the 4th. So x to the 4th would be your final answer. Notice we don't need a 1 on top because we don't need that placeholder anymore. All right, last problem. If we have y cubed parentheses squared, you would want to look at that and see, well, this is all squared, so you actually have to write this information twice. So you would do y cubed times y cubed. Sorry, my pink was not writing as well as I'd like. So y cubed times y cubed. There are 2 of whatever's inside of this parentheses. So if we have y cubed twice, you actually have y times y. We want to simplify that. Remember, you can only have each base written once when you were simplifying. So we actually have y to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th power, because there are 6 y's total. You can think back to your rules. 3 times 2 is 6. Again, if you need help on any of those problems or those types of problems, additionally to what I just talked about, please talk to me or your teacher to get help.